Neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And today we are here with a very special guest, a good friend of ours. She only lives probably 15 minutes away. Natasha Parker is here. Hi, Natasha.
Hello, Joe and Serena.
Hello.
What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about why.
Well, you know what we're going to talk about?
The grass is green. No,
you know what we're going to talk about for a little bit?
What?
And that's you're definitely not expecting this. But we have what we've been doing on this podcast is, look at your face. It's actually funny. I wish we had video. Maybe we do. I don't even know. We've been recapping first nights of seasons. So we just did Ben Higgins season, but we also did Peter Weber's season.
So we've been watching the first episode of these seasons and then interviewing The Bachelor. So we watched night one, did a recap of Peter's, and then we interviewed Peter. And we did the same with Ben. And both people, we didn't tell in advance that we did that. And I guess so you're number 3. So welcome. Welcome to the surprise.
But what's funny is I didn't, I've known you we've been friends now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right around that time. Yeah. I never saw your night one.
Oh.
So, wow, yeah.
You guys were, look, Serena, you were like, what a glow up. What a glow up.
You do look different. You do look different, though. But also,
I swear.
after seeing you with blue hair, nothing surprises me anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, the looks changed, that's for sure. The hair was shorter, that is for sure. Night one, I remember it. I remember pretty much everything, I think.
So what we see, there's a little few, and we're going to talk about this for a few minutes, so don't stress out.
Because I'm like, we could get into it if you want to. I remember.
No,
I'll get into it.
I mean, if you want to, but what we see, I feel like what we see from you is basically a little back and forth between you and McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you remember your night one?
Honestly, that's not what I remember the most about night one. I remember not knowing what the fuck was going on. That's what I remember the most. But I do remember that, obviously, with the airplane. And I do remember that. I do.
So for those that missed it, we recapped it in a past episode. But basically, Maddie Pruitt comes out with this massive paper airplane. And there's a lot of airplane-themed things happening that night. Natasha's talking to Pete, Pilot Pete, the Bachelor at the time. McKenna starts throwing little paper airplanes at Natasha. And then Natasha interrupts them with Maddie's massive paper airplane. You seem genuinely annoyed, which I could imagine you were.
I have to correct you.
Oh, please do.
She was throwing those planes at Peter. She definitely wasn't throwing them at me.
Okay, at Peter.
Now,
go ahead.
How are you and McKenna after night one? Did you guys was that a thing or?
Yeah, it was a thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there were 2 people specifically on my season. Well, no, I would say no, just one. It was just McKenna, who I just steer cleared. If she was in the kitchen, I would go in the other room. I would, it was no beef per se, in the sense of I don't hate anyone. I didn't hate her, but I just kind of steered clear because she just seemed I was annoyed by her. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
and
fair.
it wasn't. I think sometimes when you meet people, they say first impression is an only impression. I don't think that's true. I think a first impression is a lasting impression, and
I agree.
Right? You're like, okay, but
it's not always the most accurate representation of who that person is, but it sticks with you no matter what the interaction is.
Right. And I think McKenna's great, but now, in hindsight, I think she's great. But also we had a age gap as well. I can't remember exactly, but she was one of the younger. They were the house was kind of split between the younger girls and some of the older girls. Yeah, she was younger, and they kind of hung out. The older girls kind of hung out. So it was just kind of like and there's so many people. We never had to really interact with each other. I did steer clear, but I did think that it was rude to throw things. Not going to lie. Yeah. I would never do that. I was like, what? I'm not going to throw these. And they were like going after Peter, you know, and I was like, oh, she's not throwing those at me, is she? Because, girl, I will ball this up and.
If she was throwing at you, it would have turned out majorly differently.
So that was fun. But I don't know if you guys watched the whole episode, right?
Yeah.
That's it. We didn't keep watching the season. We're just watching.
Or we
first
watched night
episode.
one because
Yeah.
Peter's first episode was like two
Oh,
parts. It was like night one and then week one of like it like went into dates.
Oh right.
It was like a
Right.
3-hour season premiere.
You watch like the intros and things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's one moment when I'm sitting by the fire and Chris Harrison brings out the first impression rose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're like, oh my God, the first impression rose. Oh my God. And I'm like, the what?
Yeah, no, I remember. I'm like, Natasha doesn't even know what's going on.
Do you regret that? Because we've interviewed so many people, and you and I have interviewed a lot of people where we're kind of like, well, you should have watched.
Exactly.
Do you regret not knowing
So,
or not preparing? I mean,
yeah. So in hindsight, if I ever went on another reality show, would I ever not watch? I would watch, absolutely. But in this case, there was like pros and cons. I didn't know what was going on. And I think if I would have watched, I probably 100% would have self-eliminated. Because like not watching, I really didn't think that was an option, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Right? Like it wasn't, not saying
It's like
obviously
one of those things, and unless you take the liberty to be like, I want to self-eliminate, it's not an option that they're like presenting to you on the table. It's like you stay and you get sent home.
Yes.
Or you stay and you end up with him. Like those are kind of the only two
Yes.
things that are up for discussion, unless you like go out of your way to say like, I want to go. I can't do this.
Yes, exactly. And that's, you know, I talked about, like with my producer, I talked about going home, but it was just like, so now watching the show, so many people, that's such an option, obviously, because you're like, and it wasn't Peter though. It was more so the time that I felt like I didn't get with him that other people did get with him. Like I think
because you got like a really late one-on-one.
I got a late one-on-one, and Maddie and Victoria both had 2 one-on-ones before I had one. So
Really?
Oh yeah. So I just would have been like, fuck this. You know what I mean? Like clearly this guy doesn't like me because he doesn't want to take me on a date. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever, right? So I would have probably felt that way opposed to, but you know, everything happens for a reason. I didn't watch. So I was just kind of like, now what? What's next? What's next?
Well, and I think with your background too, like you worked in TV prior to going on the show. So like you were missing pieces of information in terms of like how the show worked from like a structural perspective.
Well,
but
you would think you would,
like, you know how TV is made. So you did have like that knowledge.
No.
you would also think somebody that worked in TV would do their research, but
well, here's the thing that's so interesting. And like, you know, during my season, people were like, she's a producer plant. Because if you went to my LinkedIn, it said HBO, it said Paramount, it said all these different places that I worked. I watch movies with actors and actresses. Like we worked in scripted television. Besides Atlanta Housewives, I pretty much never watched reality TV. So it's such a different medium. And it's like to say like, you know, if you work in news, you know how this works. It's so, everything is so completely different in the television industry. So working on a film set is so different even than working on a television set, right? Versus reality, versus, you know, all the different mediums. So it kind of used to be like, no. And also, this is my real life, myself, not like, hello, I am an actress coming on this show to date a boy, right? Although some people, that's how they feel. You know what I mean? But I just felt like having a background in television, and also I was working in marketing in TV as well. It's like, had nothing.
It didn't mean you didn't go in blind. You still went in fully blind.
Exactly. Now commercials, completely. Now I would have known I can work my way around a commercial set. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been a different thing. But I had, and also too, you think about every TV show, right? even they have its own rules in its own little thing. So a lot of people said that like she should have known, and I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah.
But it was fun going in blind, to be honest, because I really focused on my relationship instead of like all the beef and the drama. I was always drama adjacent somehow, but I never really, besides the first night with the whole McKenna thing, I really didn't have any drama, but I saw it all and I was like, so yeah.
A single moment can change the course of your business forever.
I'm like this 22-year-old kid.
Of all time, it literally crushed their website shut off, everything sold out.
This is The Unshakable.
Sourced natural wool and environmentally safe tonight. Visit lisa.com/
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
Okay, so now how is it? I feel like for one advantage that men have coming off the show single is a lot of, like, you just see it in the analytics of Instagram. A lot of the followers are female
Right.
based. So when you do come off this show heartbroken as a single guy, or not even heartbroken as a single guy, dating becomes much easier. It's just easy. It's just easier to date as a guy off the show.
Yeah, and I always say like the guys that come off the show are like pre-vetted.
Now, with that being said, you know, you went on Peter Weber's season, and then you were on our season of Bachelor in Paradise, and you left both of those seasons single.
Yeah.
How did it affect your dating life after? Do you think there were any benefits?
Well, for Bachelor, for sure, there were benefits in the sense of like personal growth. I think realizing how important it is to, you know, you have such a short amount of time with The Bachelor, and it's so much more intentional time because you're not on your phones and you have all these other devices. So I think, you know, looking back when I was going through and I got through that whole hump of The Bachelor, it was like now that when I started dating again, I was so much more vulnerable. Instead of waiting to be vulnerable, I kind of led. I led with that more, I think. And that was just like a personal growth thing that kind of broke in half for me through going through the show and then coming home and like going through all of that. So that was the personal growth. I think it was definitely a positive. The negative side is when I think any girl, whether she got her followers on a show or whatever, any girl has a bunch of followers on Instagram, you know, men feel a type of way about it.
What do you mean by that?
They feel a type of way about it. I feel like men
Like what, jealous?
think, I don't know about jealous, but it's just they think if you have a bunch of followers on Instagram, and it could be 10,000, you know, 100,000, whatever it is, 1 million, there's just millions of guys in your DMs. Now, that may be true that there are a bunch of guys in your DMs, but it's like a dude named Gary that's like 65 with like holding a cat. You know what I mean? And he's like, hey, Natasha.
The Golden Bachelor.
That's
Yeah,
so
his name
funny.
is Gary. Yeah. What are the
Okay,
odds?
well, I was thinking Gary because there is this dude.
Yeah, okay,
with
but
a Gary.
there was no guys that were, I guess, that you were attracted to or your type or around your age that were sliding into your DMs?
I mean, not well. No. 'Cause
Would you say the show? Would you say gaining that following gave you more, I guess, maybe access to maybe better parties or music festivals where then you have a better chance of meeting somebody that you like?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, only because I live in New York, right? And I've lived here for so long. Maybe if I had went somewhere else, dating wise, like I said, the personal growth was definitely a plus. I think having a lot of followers, because a lot of men don't watch The Bachelor, so it's not like guys are.
Well,
in
that
my
was kind of
DM
my point. That was kind of how I prefaced the question.
Yeah, so it's not like guys are like, I saw you on the show. Here's a shoulder to cry on. You know what
Well, and I
That's not
find
what
like
you went through.
most men that watch the show, because there are men that watch it, but oftentimes it's like with
They're in
their
a
sister, with
relationship.
their girlfriend,
Right.
with their wife,
Right.
with their mom.
Right.
Like they're watching it with a female in their life.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. And, certain people who are from other places other than New York, I think the access opens up for them. But like before I went on the show, I've dated ball players, like the one, there's people who like get off the show and now they like have all this access to like all these people they've never met. So, I mean, for that part, as far as access, no, it was just more of like that personal growth. And I think a lot of men are insecure when they go to your Instagram. That's why now I go on dates with people and I'm like, I don't even bring up The Bachelor because it's just like, it was so long ago. One, when I like early on. Two, I don't even give a guy my Instagram right away if I meet them in real life because, I mean, you don't want them to feel any type of way before they get to know you, at least for me. Well, I will say Hinge, I can't do Hinge. I was on Hinge before Bachelor, but now after that, I can't do Hinge because I have gotten messages from guys on Hinge like, you look familiar. Were you on a TV show? Were you on The Bachelor? And I'm like, it just freaks me out. Whereas I've talked to my guy friends from the show and they're like, I think it's cool when girls say that. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of cringe for me.
Well, so how the last guy you went out on a date with, how did you meet him?
We met on Raya.
Okay.
So Raya is the dating app of choice.
Well, I go back and forth between Raya and the League. So, but I only do one at a time. I can't do both. So, like, I'll do Raya or I'll do the League. And I was off Raya for like a year, and then I got back on Raya, and then now I'm off the League. So, yeah, if I meet a guy on a dating app, it's one of those two.
Do you ever meet a guy and go on a date not from a dating app?
Oh, all the time, the time.
Give me a situation.
Let me think. Because the last three guys that I went on a date with was from a dating app. But, I was out with friends. We went to drinks, and this guy was with two other guys. And he, just saw me, was like, do you want another drink? And I was like, sure. And then we just got to talking, and he was like, I'd love to take you out. And I was like, great. And we went out, and we had a great first date. And then we had an awful second date, and I never talked to him again.
Now, if that conversation went really well, are you even considering hooking up with him the first night?
No.
You're not considering it?
No.
Was there ever a time in your life where you would consider that?
So the only time at this point in my life, well, if I meet a guy out and I think he's really attractive, but I don't want to date him, for whatever reason, maybe he's like doesn't seem that smart to me. I don't know, just something like that. Like it's like
He's just a hot idiot.
Yeah, exactly. The hot idiot.
Hot idiot.
Then maybe. But honestly, in New York, I don't do it much. The last time I had a whole rendezvous was I was in the south of France.
Oh, of course.
Lot of fun.
That's the only place. That's the only place they have a rendezvous.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun.
Well, technically, I think that is part of their culture too.
What? Having rendezvous?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And affairs. Affairs are big in France.
Yes. Well, yes. Apparently there's an hour. There's like a happy hour. Apparently there's like a mistress hour or a Mr. hour. Mm-hmm.
Wait, during the week?
During the day. Every day.
So every day if you hit up a bar in Paris at like 2 p.m., that's like
you may see a man with his mistress. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That is so interesting. Oh my gosh.
Did you guys see that documentary that came out on Netflix called Ashley? It's like exposing the Ashley Madison. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it was I didn't watch the documentary yet, but I saw the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a website for people that wanted to have affairs.
Oh, I feel like
And
I
it
remember
was like behind closed doors, but then the website got hacked and everyone's information got leaked.
That only happened like in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah, it's somewhat recent.
Yeah,
It's
because
somewhat
I feel like I
recent.
remember
I
that
wanna watch
happening.
that. I want to
We
watch
would
it.
definitely need to
Yeah.
watch that.
But wouldn't you use an alias?
You would think, but like, I
But
don't know.
also, also, why do you have to? Why do you have to go on one of those to cheat? Like, because everyone on there is like married. Is everyone on there?
Yeah,
married?
well,
Is that
that's
what
the
it is?
well, that's the point. It was like
okay.
we're
it's like
yeah.
we're all on here trying to cheat on our significant others, like code of trust. Like
Yeah.
you're married, I'm married. We're not trying to date. We're just looking for like a quick affair.
I love that when
It's kind of a
people-
smart
I-
concept, as much as it's like really sketchy and weird.
That's fucked up, Serena. I love when people say. I love when people say. I was just thinking this before the podcast when somebody like will look at you that you just met or you barely know, and they're like, "Okay, circle of trust," and then they tell you something, and you're like, "Just because you said circle of trust doesn't mean I'm not going to go repeat it." You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't repeat it, but I'm just saying, like,
What about
if
off the record?
even off the record, off the record. Here's some information that I'm going to give to this stranger that I barely know.
I mean, yeah, if it's like I just met the person, I'm always a little like, wow, like I must be giving off some real trustworthy energy because like you don't know me at all. And
Yeah.
you don't know if I'm a trustworthy
But-
person or not. But I feel like when you're amongst friends, like it's like, okay, P.S., like this is in the circle of trust. Like I'm just
When you
iterating,
know
like,
the person.
Well, yeah, when you know the person, I think
For
that's a very
sure.
normal thing to say. I say it all the time. Or it's like, okay, like cone of silence, what I'm about to say like stays
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, we have look, listeners, we have a code of trust. Me, Steve,
Yeah.
and Joe, we have a code of trust.
We say
I'll
it
call
all
Joe.
the time.
I'll call Joe and be like, put me on speakerphone.
Yeah.
A single moment can change the course of your business forever.
I'm like this 22-year-old kid going up against one of the biggest companies in the world.
I was going to need to raise more capital, and I was going to need to be able to.
From Chase for Business.
And environmentally tonight. Visit lisa.com/iHeart. That's LEESA.com/iHeart.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford.
Let's get into Hidden Gems with Natasha, your new podcast. Before we do, where are you going? What are you doing today? Are you staying in New York City for the weekend? Or are you going somewhere?
No, I am going to Milan on Saturday for a wedding in Lake Como.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Remember?
Oh,
Yep.
that's so fun.
And then
Okay.
I'm going to be gone for a while.
Okay, so let's talk about Hidden Gems, your new podcast. I did an episode. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, even though you forced me to read a pornographic book.
It wasn't pornographic. It was an astrology book.
Wait,
an
Bruna
astrology
gave
book
me.
with a
Did she?
X-rated mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
What
my
did, wait,
God.
Serena, what did you think when you heard that? I was like, Serena's going to be like, what the fuck?
Well, I messaged you because Joe was like, I don't do any of these things. Like, this is so not me. But like, most of it was very much
She was
him.
Serena was listening to the or watching the podcast. You also put your episodes on YouTube,
Yep.
and simultaneously going, "This is a lie. This is a lie. You're lying. Not lying." I'm
You're
telling
like,
the truth.
I don't throw temper tantrums. I don't need to be in control and right.
I don't. I told you already. I'm channeling. I'm already growing my beard. I'm channeling my inner Chris Pratt.
Chris
No,
Pine.
Chris
He's
Pine.
been. Have you seen that
Pine.
photo of Chris Pine where he's got like long hair?
He's like, I just don't care
now
anymore.
he's like grown out
That's
his
how I feel.
beard. It's really giving like I don't give a fuck about anything. I'll send you
Caveman.
the photo. It's giving caveman.
Well,
And
that's his whole thing. Like he just
his
doesn't
new
care
thing
anymore.
is like I just don't care anymore.
and that's how that's me too.
Well,
love
no,
happiness.
we're not entering. You're too young to be entering that era of your life.
yeah, no, you got to care. You
I actually
gotta
think that's.
care.
I mean, here, Natasha, you talk about like life in general and on your podcast, but like I do think that's a healthy outlook in
To
life.
an extent about certain things,
Well,
yes.
I obviously,
But,
I
like,
I care about.
don't be letting yourself go right now.
There you go. There you go, Serena. Tell him.
Yeah.
I went to the gym. I've been to the gym twice in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this like I don't care about anything mentality I feel like is good in like I don't care maybe like I don't care what other people think of me or I'm not gonna let other people's judgment or opinions like influence my mood or emotions or choices.
Yeah, exactly.
But like you're an extremist, and I worry about you taking this mentality to an extreme.
Well, I guess you just gotta sit back and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's been most of our relationship.
So let's talk a little bit about Hidden Gems. What is it about?
Hidden Gems is about helping people get unstuck, or people who feel like they need to pivot in their life, because we all have been in that position at some point. I like to interview people about moments in their life where they have been stuck, or they have had to pivot and to get to where they are now. And I try to find like little synchronicities in people's lives who I interview. So like you, Joe, you were on. Serena, have to have you on as well. And, you know, I just being the night one guy to married, you know what I mean, from the show is like, to me, really awesome. And like the mindset from going from one thing to another thing to another thing. And we talked about that on the episode. And I really love that episode too. The soulmate conversation. So many people messaged me about that in that clip. A lot of people.
Yeah,
were like,
that was
what?
a great clip.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about.
I don't believe in soulmates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was so that was good, and I every single episode there's something so beautiful that someone says about their life and like what made them get to where they are now. And I mean, I interviewed someone the other day and they were like, you know, I'm stuck right now. I'm stuck right now. And that person is Rachel Lindsay. That episode will probably be out in a couple of weeks. And she, you know, she's going through a divorce and things like that. So
she said she feels stuck in the current moment.
Right. Yeah, because she's going through a pivot and a change, and a lot of things in her life are changing right now. So
that is so interesting, like the concept of being stuck during such a huge change, because I feel like people associate change with like movement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
I usually feel when you are moving, that's usually the time you don't feel stuck, right?
What do you mean?
Like if you and I were getting a divorce.
Oh God, here we go. Oh Lord, I
need a
drink.
Where's this going?
What I was saying is, if you and I were getting a divorce, I don't know if I would. I don't know if feeling stuck would be what I would be feeling. I think it would. I would not feel stuck.
Well, that's my point.
If Serena was trying to take all your fucking money, you might.
If Serena was trying to take, listen, I'm not. No. I think.
No, you're proving my point.
Yeah,
you're saying,
that's what I'm saying.
I think people associate change with movement, but a lot of the time, change, especially when it's like big changes, there's other people involved. You feel stuck.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Like you're saying, I would think if we were getting divorced, I would feel
like
feel
a sense sad.
Of adjustment
I would
and
feel
movement.
I would feel. Yeah, I would feel sad. I would feel all types of ways, but I don't think stuck would be one of them, because it is such a huge life change.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is it's like, okay, so where do I move now? What do I do now? Where do I go? You know, do I need to switch jobs? You know, do I need move into a different house because maybe we were both paying for this house? You know, so there's all these decisions that you have to make. And I think that's one thing that gets people in a stuck place, is not knowing where to go. Sometimes you have too many options of, not, you know, which way do I go? Or if life is, you know, not going well or whatever, there's also just like a stagnant feeling that people will get. Like, I need to change, but I don't know how, who, what, where, why I should or can. Or if you're starting a new business and you just lost a bunch of money, do I quit this business? Do I not? Do I quit this relationship? Do I not? Like, you know, so there's so many things. And I think in the decision-making process, some people just don't do anything. And that's like not the thing to do, right? So that's where I like to talk to people about how they got through those moments when they got stuck. And the main thing that I see from successful people, I would say, who have found success in some area in life, is they don't stay stuck for long. They try something else, or they have like multiple things happening, especially in business, where they're like, okay, that's not working, but now we can do this, or this isn't working, and that now we can do that. So that's what I've, you know, seen and things like that. So
do you have a dream guest?
Yes, it was the same guest on Clickbait. It would be my dream guest till she comes, Rihanna. Period. I feel like Rihanna would drop gems all day, every day about everything. She also had a big pivot from music to being an entrepreneur and CEO. And I would love to talk about the transition and where she was in her life. And she was like, I'm not going to do music for a while now. I'm going to do this. And then, Savage Fenty and then her makeup and, I would just, so many things. And now she's a mom and she has 2 kids. And
if your listeners could take away one thing from listening to you on your podcast, what would you want that to be?
I want people to come to the podcast and feel lighter and feel supported in the sense that, like, you don't have to have everything figured out. One of the reasons why I started the podcast is because our suicide rate is so high among young people, and Instagram and social media is such a highlight reel, and they look at someone's life and they're like, oh, look at them, they're so happy. But people don't understand what it took to get there, and the moments of stuck, and the moments of, and all the pivots that they had to do to get to that point. So I want people to not feel as alone in their transitions when they're making transitions. And it's okay to let go of things, and it's okay to push forward and persevere through things, That's like the whole reason why I wanted to start the podcast, because I know it can be lonely for some people when they're like, no one else is feeling this, no one else is going through this. Like, I'm in so much debt, I'm in this, I'm in that. But you're not the only one, boo. You're not the only one.
Do you have a favorite episode that you've done so far?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna get slapped if I don't say Joe's.
No, you don't have to.
No,
you don't have
I'm
to say
kidding.
anything.
Other than Joe's.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it wasn't my favorite podcast to be on anyway.
Oh my God.
Well, why? Because you were in such a pissy mood that day?
I'm just joking.
He
I
was
enjoyed
grumpy
it.
that day.
I actually really did enjoy it. I did. I had fun on that podcast.
I would say, so I do 3 guests and then I do a solo episode.
Okay.
I had an episode with a girl. Her name's Jenny Minen. She is a psychotherapist. And I really loved that episode. We talked about the psychology of love and things like that. And she talked about the biggest difference between compatibility and chemistry. I really loved that episode.
I think we listened to that one.
Yeah. I
Was
also
that the one right before mine?
I think so. Yep. I really love that episode. And then I also love my manifesting episode. I get a lot of messages about that one because I do think that we are the makers of our universe and we can draw in anything. I talk a lot about femininity. I can't say that those are my favorite episodes. I just think it really resonates with a lot of people, and I love doing those. I love talking about femininity the most. So yeah. That's but I love everyone. It's so hard to pick because I'm like, I do everything. I find the guests, I figure out, I research them, talk, and do everything. So it's hard to like pick because I think everyone is so like amazing and interesting and beautiful in their own way.
Good. I think that's a good mentality to have. I think you should like all your episodes that you're producing and putting out.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we're gonna play. You want to play a game with us?
Yeah.
Natasha, you know how this works. Rapid fire. First thing that comes to your mind. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Current favorite beauty product?
Makeup Forever lip liner. I forgot the name of it, but it's a brown lip liner. Literally lost it the other day. Had to go buy 2 of them.
Do you know what this is?
I know what it is because I've seen Natasha post about it.
Favorite zodiac sign?
Aries
Right.
pit. Aries.
Favorite zodiac sign?
Oh, favorite zodiac sign.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
mean-
so interesting.
You mean
Do you-
besides my own? Because obviously Aries. We're the first.
Well, no, Aries is your favorite.
Period.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's an Aries.
Go to drink at a bar.
Tequila soda lime.
Nice. Gold jewelry or silver jewelry?
Gold.
Dream music artist to see live. I don't know
Dead
why
or
I read it
alive?
like that.
Dead or alive?
No, just live right now. Who would Why are you laughing?
Do you know what she means by dead or alive? Like, it could be someone that's already dead. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. No, you can't. And my point is, no. They have to. If they're dead, you can't go see them live.
Okay. This is hard. This is very hard. Why is it so hard?
I know,
You know
that is
what?
hard.
You know what? and I will see them live hopefully in November. But this composer, his name is Mateo. I always post his songs on my podcast page. I want to see him live so bad. He's a composer, piano, so good. His name's Mateo, and he has like a lot of consonants in his last name, and I don't want to mess it up, but it's like Murderic or something like that. Yeah, but I want to see him live really bad.
Wow. That was not, I would have never have guessed that. Actually, maybe I would have guessed.
I mean,
All
I've
right.
seen so many like popular people. I've
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
seen them. So
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
one of the people you've seen live that's been your favorite?
Sade, hands down.
Yeah, you go to a lot of
Hands-
concerts.
Hands down, Sade. Best concert I've ever been to in my whole entire life. Wow.
Go to comfort movie.
The Sweetest Thing or Scarface.
Dream vacation destination.
Ooh, I mean, Fiji?
One thing that you love about New York City.
The people.
Favorite way to decompress.
Meditating.
Your favorite thing about you.
I'm going to say my legs. No.
That's fine.
My
That's fine.
No. The way that I can listen. Like the fact that I'm a listener.
Have you been to Lake Como before?
I've never been to Lake Como.
You're
Nope,
gonna
I've been-
love it.
Yeah,
You're
I've
gonna
been in
have the
Milan.
Where are
best
you
time.
staying?
I'm not telling anyone on this podcast where I'm staying because
that's
I'm a little scared. But I've never been there.
Oh, I don't think anyone's flying out to Lake Como, but
But what if they're already there? I don't know. Listen,
No,
women.
I get it.
This is not for any.
if we have a
woman.
listener in Lake Como, I would be really impressed with
You probably
with
do,
us.
but no, it's not for it's like it's not for like women. Obviously, like we love our girlies. It's for like creepy men. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I get it.
You know what
But
I mean?
I just don't. I don't see a creepy man living in Lake Como listening to Bachelor Happy Hour with Joe and Serena. But you never know. You never
I've
know.
had
Exactly.
soccer.
You never know.
I've
you
had
never know.
stalkers, Joe. I've
If
had stalkers.
if you are currently living in Lake Como listening to this podcast, please DM me who you are because I want to know more.
If
Natasha,
they're a creeper, they're not going to DM you, Joe.
you never know.
It's not very creeper-esque to be like, "Hey, it's me. I'm the one that you're talking about, the creeper in Lake Como."
We don't know if
Just-
he's a
just
creeper
reaching
just because
out.
we don't know if he's a creeper though. You guys are automatically labeling this guy a creeper.
Yeah, his name is George Clooney. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be sick.
That would be so cool.
Natasha, that's all we have for today.
Okay,
Thank you so much for taking the time out and coming on our podcast. Everybody, if you don't listen to Hidden Gems with Natasha Parker, you should because it's a really fun podcast. And if you're going to listen to any episode, probably listen to the one that I'm on.
Yeah, and go follow on Instagram. Is it just at Hidden Gems?
No, it's Gems with Natasha actually on
Okay.
all platforms. Yeah.
Gems with Natasha on all platforms. You can watch on YouTube. And honestly, follow on Instagram because you honestly post so many clips and they're
Yep.
so great. They're
Mhm.
like just like very high res and enjoyable. And I feel like I always feel just like inspired by watching all of your clips. They always leave me in a good mood every time I watch them.
That's the
So
point.
follow, listen, enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to Bachelor Happy Hour as
More
well.
importantly, don't forget to subscribe to Bachelor Happy Hour. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
We're going to have lots more exclusive interviews coming your way. And we're slowly creeping towards Gen season, where we will be doing more recaps and more interviews. So thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.